Hey everyone, Andrea Rene here for Yahoo Esports. I'm here with Graeme Timmins, the lead gameplay designer at Gearbox for Battleborn, and today we are talking about gear. So can you explain to me, how does gear work in Battleborn?
So gear is pretty unique to Battleborn. So in other games like a traditional MOBA, you have a shop that you have to purchase all these different pieces of gear on the fly. That's a lot to take on. We wanted to kind of streamline it and make it more approachable, but still have that depth. So when you're playing through the campaign, let's say, gear will drop from enemies that you can take back and then equip into your loadouts. These loadouts are 3 pieces of gear that can go to any character. There's different kinds of examples of gear, but what it comes down to is you do all that work in the menus, and then when you're in the action, you're not screwing around with the minutia of pieces of gear. You've already pre-selected it and you know what you want.
So if I haven't selected gear going into the match, I can't do it mid-match.
Can't do it mid-match.
So if I have, let's say, a shield regenerator, do I only have one of those, or is it something that I can equip on multiple characters as far as like loadouts go?
The loadout is agnostic of any character you select. So when you select a character, the next thing you select is a gear loadout that you've pre-made. Again, you want to make sure that that loadout kind of matches the character that you're playing.
How many different kinds of gear can you have equipped per character?
Going to the match, you'll have 3 pieces. To actually activate that, you need to collect shards during the match and then use it to activate that bonus. That's how we're kind of balancing them, so that later in the game, if you collect all these shards, expensive gear you'll start using later in the game, or cheaper gear, while it might not have a big bonus, you could purchase it and activate it much sooner in a match.
So I've got my gear, I've got my character set up, ready to go. How does it actually work in match?
So in match, to activate a piece of gear, you need to pay the activation cost. And that activation cost is an amount of shards. So when you're in that early match, you want to run around, grab those shards so that you can turn on the effects of that piece of gear.
So in Borderlands, just to use as a reference for people, when you start out, your gear is like crap. It's like super low level, but then when you get to like level 50, you have this like really crazy high powered gear. Are we going to see that same kind of like really kind of steep curve in like how powerful gear becomes later on in the game?
Well, we want to make sure it's balanced. That's always a huge part of what we do at Gearbox when we're making this game, because balance can go right and wrong a drop of a dime. So with these, you're going to have, there's a lot of depth there in the types. We have, uncommon, rare, epic, legendary, all that stuff's there. You're going to want to mix and match. If you went in with a bunch of legendary gear, the amount of shards it would take to activate that would be astronomical, and you probably wouldn't get to activate all those pieces, so it's kind of not a great strategy. What you're going to want to mix is like taking a green piece of gear that I can activate earlier in the match, then have maybe a couple blues that I'm going to use to get a little power boost towards the end of the match to help me push the tide in my favor.
Okay, that definitely makes sense. So when it comes to gear and it being whatever level, would it be common, rare, legendary, is it going to be randomly dropped, or can you like select your gear in certain aspects?
You can do both, in a sense. So in the campaign episodes, we drop gear from enemies, or we drop it from bosses, and that's where some of the best gear in the game is actually found as enemy drops from our bosses in the campaign. So you can go run those campaign missions to get that orange piece of gear. But while you're playing the game, everything that you're doing, we're rewarding you credits, and those credits can then be used to go buy gear packs, so you can go open a green level pack and see if you get a green out of it. So there's a couple different ways you can get gear, both through the campaign or just playing through multiplayer.
But if there's like one specific gun or one specific like shield that I want, I'm not going to be able to like hand select it from a store. It's going to come in a pack.
Yeah, you'll have to go, and if it's coming from a boss, go run that boss, just like you would at Raid in Borderlands. Or you could purchase packs and keep opening those packs and hope that one shows up.
In your guys' play tests, have you seen any trends with high level play with gear? Are people leaning towards specific types of gear?
Yeah, I found out the hard way once. So I just assumed that good colored gear is what I need. And then a group of players on the other team had equipped all this white level gear. I didn't understand they could activate it so soon. Some gear doesn't actually have a shard cost because it gives you a bonus, but it also gives you a negative effect. And those we let you equip right at the start, 0 shard cost. I didn't know that. And so they had this boost of damage and movement right from the very beginning of the match. I raged. What the heck just happened? I went back and learned that, they traded long-term growth for a short boost right up at the front. And those kind of things can happen all the time.
Well, Graeme, thank you so much for that look at gear in Battleborn. We will bring you guys more news and updates right here on Yahoo Esports.